Alright, so today we're going to learn how to add and subtract fractions with two different methods. So today we're going to use the LCD or LCM method as well as the butterfly method. So we're going to use these for both adding and subtracting fractions. Alright, so the LCD is the same thing as the least common denominator. So I'm going to shorten denominator. Oh boy, denominator. Actually, I won't. There we go. Denominator right there. Okay, so for example, when we have the number 1/2, the denominator is the number on the bottom. So for example, in 1/2, the denominator would be 2. Or in the example of 2/3, our denominator would be 3. So when we do the least common denominator, we're going to try to find the number that these two numbers have in common that is the smallest. So I'm going to show you how to do that just to review. Okay, so we've learned about least common denominator already. I'm just going to go over how we do it with adding and subtracting. So our example problem will be 1/2 plus 2/3. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at our two denominators. Remember, we did in class is that you can't just add across. So we can't just have 1 plus 2 equals 3 and 2 plus 3 equals 5. Remember that that isn't correct. We have to have, each of the numbers have to have the same exact denominator in order for us to even start the problem. Okay, so what we do is we're going to find the denominator that they both have in common. Okay, so we're going to take these two numbers and we're going to pull them out to the side. So we're going to put a 2 here and our 3 here. And then we're going to write down all the multiples of 2 and 3 until we find one that they match. So I usually do maybe 4 or 5 multiples of each number and then compare them. So we're going to go 2. So we're going to start with 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Then we're going to go with 3. So we're going to say 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, then what we do is we're going to look through and we're going to see if we have anything in common. So we're going to see 2, there's no 2, 4, there's no 4, now 6, I see a 6 on both numbers. So that is going to be what we call our least common denominator. Because as we can see, that is a denominator they both have in common. And it is the smallest one. So we could say, if we kept going, I would also then get 12, and I could say these two are common, but they're not the smallest one they have in common. It would still work, but you would have to reduce your fractions. That's why we want to have the number that's the smallest. So in this example, our least common denominator is going to be 6, because it's right there. Okay, so because our least common denominator is 6, now we need to change both of our fractions into something with a denominator of 6. Okay, so let's go back to what our original fractions were. Our original fraction was 1/2 and 2/3. So we're going to have 1/2 here, 2/3 here. Okay, so we want to find a denominator of 6. We're going to say 1/2 is the same thing as how many sixths, and 2/3 is the same thing as how many sixths. Now this is actually easier than it looks, because we just have to think 2 times what equals 6, and we'll say, okay, well we know 2 times 3 equals 6. Easy enough. Okay, so then you go up here and you say you have to do the exact same number. So you always do the same number on the top and the bottom. So if we multiply by 3 on the bottom, multiply by 3 on the top. So we say 1 times 3 equals 3. So that number is all done. Okay, then we do the same thing on the other side. So we say 3 times what equals 6, and we know that's 2. So remember, we do 2 down here, we do 2 up here. 2 times 2 equals 4. Alright, and then you're done. So you got that right there. Okay, so now, easy enough, now we just add them together. Now this is where the easy part is. So we got 3/6 and 4/6, and we add those guys together. Okay, so remember, we don't add the bottom numbers. So these stay exactly the same. So the 6 stays a 6. We just add the top. So 3 and 4 right there. So we're now 7 over 6. And we're going to go into more detail about how to simplify these numbers. But for right now, that would be your answer. Alright, so I'm going to now show you the butterfly method for adding fractions. Alright, so the butterfly method is faster, but it does often require reducing. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to reduce kind of right normally most of the time. Okay, so you just got to be a little more comfortable reducing. Okay, so I'm going to pick two different, well, I can do the same numbers, I guess. Okay, so we got 1/2. Let's review what our numbers were. 1/2 and 2/3. And this works exactly the same for subtracting. I'll quickly show you subtracting after we're done. Okay, so if you remember a butterfly, just going to sketch it quickly in the corner here. Butterfly has a little body, it's got wings, and it's got little antenna. So I want you just to remember that image while we're working. Okay, I'm going to get rid of my butterfly. Okay, so what you do is you start, this is how we're going to make our wings. We draw across, and we draw across. You can see kind of we got little butterfly wings happening here. Little sketch in the corner. Okay, so then what you do is you multiply across. So we do 2 times 2 and 1 times 3. Okay, so people get confused, but you're going to just imagine like this, just for this part of it, is multiplication. So we multiply across this way, multiply across this way. So what we do is 2 times 2 equals 4, and 3 times 1 equals 3. Okay, and we got those down here. Okay, so now what the plus comes in handy for right now is we drag this plus up right there. Okay, so if it's a subtraction, you would do the subtraction part. Okay, now the other part of our, let me see, so you can see that these parts right here are like our little antennas. Kind of fun. And the little part right here, little bottom part of a butterfly right there is for our denominator. So you say, then you do 2 times 3. So you do 2, remember, times 3. So with all the operations are times. So 2 times 3, and that gets you 6. So all you do is drag this 6 across, because it just goes right there. And you do 3 plus 4 equals 7. In this case, we didn't have to. I mean, we would ultimately. Alright, so another example with the butterfly method, let's do another one real quick for you, is, let's go 2/5 plus 1/6. I'll just show you how it works. Okay, so we do across, across, and then underneath we draw our antenna, and once you have that, basically all you have to do is the math part, which is easy peasy. Okay, so we do 5 times 1 equals 5, 6 times 2 equals 12, we drag our plus sign up, and then we do 5 times 6 equals 30. So just remember, some people get confused, they want to add, because they see the add sign. So you really only use the add sign right here. It would be the same with a subtraction problem. You do it's all multiplying. So basically it's like 90% multiplying, like 10% adding. So I know it gets confusing because you're adding. It's an adding problem, but it's a lot of multiplying. Okay, so we do 12 plus 5 equals 17, and 30 we just drag. So get rid of this. Okay, so 12 plus 5 equals 17. That goes right here. And then our 30 goes right here. And then our final answer is 17 over 30. So that's it for that. Alright, so I'm just going to very fast show you how you use this for subtracting. Alright, okay, so let's get a clean screen. Okay, so super quickly, just show you exactly, it's exactly the same with this. Okay, so we have 1/2 minus 1/3. Okay, same thing. We do our across the wings, our antenna, and our bottom. Okay, so then we just multiply across. Okay, so 2 times 1. Remember, it's always, just remember, think of it as times until you have to subtract. Okay, 2 times 1 equals 2, 3 times 1 equals 3, 2 times 3 equals 6. Okay, remember, now we use the subtraction sign. That's where it comes into play. Okay, so then we do 3 minus 2 equals 1, so 3 minus 2, that's where we did that problem right there. That equals 1, and then the 6 goes right here. So we got our answer of 1/6. Okay, so very quickly show you how to use the LCD method with this, and then we'll wrap this up. So 1/2 minus 1/3. Okay, so remember, we need to find the least common denominator. So we do 2 and 3, and we've already done 2 and 3, I believe, already, but we're going to do it again. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Okay, so we see 6 is our number that we have in common. That means our LCD is 6, our least common denominator. The one they have in common, that's the smallest of all the numbers. Okay, so now I have to make 1/2 and 1/3 equal to something with a 6. Okay, so remember, we just do 2 times what equals 6, and 3 times what equals 6. 2 times 3 equals 6. Therefore, our top number is 3. 1 times 3 equals 3. Okay, then 3 times what equals 6? That's 2. 1 times 2. Remember, we just do the same on the top and bottom. Equals 2. So we're going to do 3/6 minus 2/6 equals, okay, so remember we do 3 minus 2 equals 1. And then this stays exactly the same. Remember, you don't change the denominator. It just stays the same. So we got the same answer both ways. 1/6.